Are you painting? I love your rainbow. That's looking beautiful. Okay, Mommy's gonna work too, okay?
Wait, are you taking a video of me?
Yeah. Hello everybody and welcome to Dryer Days Art Studio. I'm Catherine and I'm so happy to have you here. Well, as you could see in the beginning, the two pieces that I'm going to be working on today are beach themed, and I have never done these before. This was my first time trying, and I do want to say there's going to be a couple of things in this video that I'm featuring that I will cover more in depth over on my Patreon for my $5 and up tiered patrons. They will get an extra video detailing a little bit more what I'm doing, such as what that black stuff was on there that I put down, and a more in-depth explanation of how I make my waves in this piece. Coming in, I'm using Pro Marine resin, and the reason I chose Pro Marine for these is because I am using my favorite white, Angel White from Lorez Expressions, and I just think the Lorez Angel White works so much better with Pro Marine when you're trying to get cells and lacing, and it's just so beautiful the effects you can get. The Pro Marine just seems to be a little bit thinner in consistency and really works well to achieve that, and so that's why I chose Pro Marine. Any and all of the supplies and products that I'm using you can find in this video's description and every description of every video that I make, in case you're curious about that. And as you can see here, just laying in those colors where I wanted them based on the colors I had already laid down, and just going in with my hands and mixing that clear resin in with the pigmented resin. And that just gives a nice blended look. And I did come in several times with my heat gun to pop the bubbles and to manipulate that resin around. This board right here is a 20-inch round on birch, and the smaller one that I do is a 12-inch on MDF. Just going in and getting a nice covering of clear resin here, and as you can see, I'm kind of keeping it away from the blue portion because I didn't want any more blue water to come down on this pink area. I was doing these two beach themed pieces with pink sand because I had visited a place, the Bahamas, and there is a place called Harbor Island there, and it is said to have pink beaches, pink sand beaches, and it's just beautiful, and the water there is teal. I have been to the Bahamas, and the water is like this turquoise teal clear water. It's so beautiful. Now, it is said that the pink comes, I've heard a couple different explanations, but the one that I find predominantly is that the pink hue comes from I'm going to really say this wrong, Foraminifera, a microscopic organism that actually has a reddish pink shell, and that this shell has gotten crushed up, and that's what causes this pink sand. Here's, I bought some pink sand on Amazon, and I incorporated two different pinks. One of them I wasn't real happy with how it came out, so in this 12-inch I do end up coming in and doing a second layer of all of this stuff again, and that was time consuming and a little frustrating, but I discussed in my vlog about how, you know, as artists, we know when our pieces are done, and this just, it wasn't ready. It wasn't done for the waves yet. And so I came in and I made those adjustments. I am using a selection of mica pigments as well as acrylic paint in both of these. That darker one there is a peacock green from Lorez. It's a mica pigment. It's gorgeous. It's one of my favorites. And this is actually a teal color from Liquitex Basics Paints. And then I do come in with a turquoise mica pigment from Artisan Pigments, and the rest is clear. I did actually mix in some of them, the titanium pigment from Artisan Pigments. It's like a whitish, very light silver, because in some areas I wanted to lighten those pigments just a little bit. So I did add that in just a couple colors across this piece and the larger one. You can see right there, that's the turquoise from Artisan Pigments mixed with a little bit of that titanium. And of course, just coming in with the heat gun to pop any bubbles. Now here I've already put in one wave. I wanted to kind of try it out on my own and see how it was going to go. And like I said, if you want more of an in-depth explanation of how I made these waves, I will have that over on my Patreon for my patrons that are of the $5 tier and up. I'm going to be giving them special videos with more tips and tricks over there. That's part of the incentive and reward of being of that level. Really loved how this effect came out of giving the layering look of the waves, of really looking like water coming in on top of each other and not just being a completely flat surface. It gave it some dimension, it gave it some texture. Once all of the waves were done and they had cured for at least 48 hours, there were a couple spots I wanted to come in and just lay a little bit more clear resin up at the top. I had I think a cat hair had gotten in, and I just wanted to smooth some things out. But I had also kind of decided, just looking at these pieces, that they needed a little bit more. So I actually did get some tiny pink and white seashells, and I crushed them up and I added them to clear resin and applied them there at the bottom. I thought that would be fitting, considering that the pink sand does come from crushed up pink shells. I also ordered some tiny little real starfish and sand dollars, and actually the little tiny shells in there and the beads that I'm adding I got from a bracelet that I had actually bought when I was in the Bahamas, and so I'm adding them in here. And again, just doing a little bit of clear resin up in this top part because I had a couple of blemishes that I wanted to smooth out a little bit, but not taking it over the entire piece because I wanted to leave some of those wave-like effects. On this one, I did drizzle a little bit of angel dust up at the top, which you can find in my Amazon store too. I haven't really talked about that stuff too much, but it did give it almost kind of like a bubbly look and some sparkle, so that was really cool to add that in there. So hard to pick up some of these things on the camera, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Come check out my Patreon. All the links are in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, everybody, keep on pouring.